Sapa does not stand out on the map, but every visitor to Vietnam knows Sapa as a must-see destination. The road from Hanoi to Sapa provides enjoyable traveling. Visitors can travel to Sapa on National Highway number 2. On this journey, we can experience the changes in the landscape through the 3 main topographical and ecological areas of northern Vietnam: the plains, the midlands, and the highlands. Visitors can also travel to Sapa by train, which runs along the bank of the Red River. This was one of the first railway lines in Asia, built by the French at the end of the 19th century. The line has been modernized and updated. The convenient train journey starting at night from Hanoi will take you to Lao Cai, the town near the Vietnamese-Chinese border, by early morning. From the town of Lao Cai, it is about 38 kilometers to Sapa on a climbing road, also upgraded and widened. The Sapa tourist area begins at Mong Sen, which is a variant pronunciation of Mong Tien. The ancient local people believed that Mong Tien was the borderline dividing the place for human life at the bottom of the mountain from the home of the spirits who live in heaven at the top of the mountain, surrounded by clouds all the year round. Passing that spiritual border of the ancient people, Sapa appears in front of our eyes. It is an impressive mountainous area covered by thousands of square kilometers of tropical forest, in which is located the highest peak of Indochina, Phan Xipang. Before our eyes is an open valley with vast terraced fields, where you can see the mountain villages of many different ethnic groups. An ethereal town under the green canopy of samu trees. Sapa has been named a tourist zone because of its variety of attractions. Here you can rest after a strenuous period of work, study the ecology, or go venture rock climbing. Home-based tours can take you to visit mountain villages and discover the culture of ethnic groups. There are nearly 20 tourist sites in an area of several hundred square kilometers. Tourists who go to Sapa will want to look for a local tour guide. One of the places where you can find a local tour guide is the Sapa Information Tourist Guide Center in Khao Mai Street. The 3D model of the locality in the center helps us to visualize the wonderful but challenging Sapa. The costumes, jewelry, musical instruments, and working tools on display help us to get acquainted with the life of the ethnic groups before meeting them. The center can provide the visitors with books and maps which give us necessary information to choose the best tours. Information is also available through the website of the center. One of the best services of the centre is the provision of local tour guides, who are young men and women speaking Vietnamese, the local language, as well as fluent English. These guides have been trained to show you the shortest and safest way to all the tourist attractions. Certainly, no one can do better than them in guiding tourists to conquer Phan Xipang Peak. As we look at the mountain, the 3,143-meter peak appears and disappears in the clouds. Not only tourists, but also the local people want to explore this piece of country to discover the hidden beauty of the Huanglian Range. On the way to the summit of Fansipan, we taste the richness of the Sapa ecology. Over 800 species of botanical plants grown here, and hundreds of these can only be found locally. The bottom of the mountain is covered with tropical jungles, where there are thousands of moss-covered tree trunks, providing a habitat for the famous Huanglian wild orchids. The upper leaf canopy protects the lower trees, which include many precious herbs like cardamom and anise. The scenery at the peak has stayed unchanged since the day when the French explorer Rozier arrived here 70 years ago. In his words, Fansipan Peak is comprised of granite originating from magma. The forest here is huge and contains typical herbs from the east of the Himalayas. The jungles contain 1,000-year-old Arhat pines standing imposingly or swaying gently in mountain winds. We feel like we are standing in heaven looking down at the earth. The mountain villages, streets, fields and gardens become small and minute. Perhaps this is the reason why the ancient people named Sapa Muang Tien, meaning mountain village in the heavens. After the exertion of long walking days, the peak appears before our eyes. Fatigue vanishes in a pleasant feeling. It is said that the poet Mang Kong Lo visited this place in his search for the meaning of life and the truth of Buddhist philosophy. We want to share his feeling and shout loudly, as he did, to shake earth and sky. Not far away from the foot of the mountain is Takbak, meaning silver waterfall. It is a dazzling white waterfall with 3 distinct sections falling from the Lo Sui Sung highland. The top part is formed by a sloping escarpment. The water is fragile and graceful, looking like long lace falling down from the sky. But further down from this point, the waterfall becomes impressive and noisy. Finally, at the bottom, it is open, wide, and peaceful. The water is clear and gentle. The 3 main parts of the waterfall represent the 3 parts of human life. Maybe for this reason, many couples come here to kiss goodbye to their peaceful life while courting, to prepare for the step into the bustling life of marriage. In a similar way, old people climb up to this waterfall to look back at their past time. Again, for the same reasons, eminent monks come here to practice meditation, to think about existence and non-existence, and the cause and effect of human life. Takbak is one of 3 streams that rush into the main stream of Kat. The 3 streams, following from their source, cross hundreds of meters of sloping mountain terrain and join together to pour down the waterfall. Sitting on a stone beside one of these 3 streams, we experience a feeling of awe at the power of nature. Summer in Sapa is cooler than autumn. The mountain winds bring clouds and a breath of the jungle. Winter sometimes brings snow late at night. At dawn, the roads are covered with a white blanket. Whenever it snows in Sapa, it is a time for celebrations. Visitors from many places flock to Sapa to adore the peerless sight of snow in a tropical country. Snow turns back the time. Older people play kids' games. In the white color of the snow, people seem to be carefree, with no place for hatred and fighting. The varied climate of Sapa provides a variety of produce. Temperate climate vegetables grow all year round in the villages of O Kui Ho, gardens of coyote in all of the versants of the Rocky Mountains grow patiently in the sunlight and under the wind to become the famous specialties of Sapa. Varieties of peaches and pears originating from South China grow in the gardens of Takbat. Though the fruits are modestly small, their flavour is very juicy. Many kinds of flowers from Europe have been acclimatized to Sapa. Nowadays, growing different species of flowers is one of the economic activities in Sapa, using modern farming techniques. Some flower growers collect different species of orchid and water rail flowers from the Huanglianson range to sell to those who wish to take back with them a bit of Sapa perfume and beauty. The villages of the ethnic people in Sapa are located on the lower ground beyond the town. This custom may originate from the idea of the ancient inhabitants that the Sapa township once belonged to the Muang Tien area. The most attractive to tourists are the villages in the Muang Hua Valley. The Hmong villages, with names such as Kat Kat, Sin Chai, are usually situated in the middle of terraced fields which are typical of the scenery of the Hmong district. After ploughing, the flooded fields look like a piece of mirror. Then, during harvest time, they are like a carpet leading to the sky. In each season, a Hmong village has its own different beauty. Houses with walls and roofs made of solid wood and bamboo provide a good cool resting place in summer. A wood fire burning through the night, together with the heat of the distilled spirits offered to visitors, provides warmth during winter. Every villager makes some traditional handicrafts. Men spend most of their leisure time after farm work doing carpentry, blacksmithing, and silver carving. Farmers who are used to heavy farm work suddenly become romantic and skillful artisans creating beautiful, sparkling silver jewelry. Hmong women make cloth, performing all stages of the work, from processing the linen to weaving on a small frame loom. This is a traditional technique that industrial weaving can never reproduce with the same quality. To be skillful in weaving and embroidery is one of the requirements for Hmong women. Samples for embroidery are made of beeswax. The glossy lines and patterns are then made by silk threads of different colors woven into a piece of black cloth. Nowadays, the women produce cloth not only for their own needs but also as products for tourist souvenirs. Taking a tour in Sin Chai village, visitors will be taught by Hmong women how to do the very sophisticated and patient work of weaving and embroidering linen. However, usually, it is only women visitors who attempt this work, while their men are more interested in joining the farm work with local people. Ploughing is very easy in a vast field, but in a small plot of only a few square meters, it requires a very sophisticated technique. During a break time, Visitors can participate in folk games such as buffalo fighting, cricket fighting, and top spinning, which can no longer be found in other developing rural areas. Some tourists from Europe like to see their visit as a field trip. They even make it more interesting by repairing schools and health clinics and helping to keep the villages clean. Community clubs are a place where tourists can learn about the traditional performance activities of the local people. The folk songs and the ken dances, which have been transmitted over hundreds of years, are imbued with the open and upright nature of the highland people. When staying in the villages, visitors will be given the best place by the host. Blankets and mats with colourful patterns and the handicrafts create an atmosphere full of traditional culture. Hmong people hang many kinds of weapons in their house. This is not for security, but a local tradition. At night, if someone comes into the house with a firearm or dagger, please don't be scared, as this is a rare opportunity for you to witness the tradition of bride stealing among the Hmong. In Dao ethnic minority villages such as Ta Phin, local people have been able to preserve their traditional handicrafts. Dao women do not embroider in beeswax design, but create patterns by counting the cotton fibers. This is a unique technique requiring the weaver to be well trained, skillful, and patient. This kind of detailed work reflects the Dao lifestyle. All the pressure of modern life is left behind at the village border. Visiting a Dao village, we are in the depth of a peaceful countryside that seems to exist only in memory for most people. The same pace of life can be experienced in the villages of the Thai and Dai groups. Although these are villages that welcome tourists, they never have the mixed atmosphere of half urban, half rural areas. The preservation of the traditional lifestyle is one of the factors that attracts tourists. Tai Ban Ho villages are located at the confluence of the two biggest streams in Sapa. These streams bring cool air from the mountains to make the villages full of pleasantly fresh air. Visitors are invited to stay in the wooden houses built on stilts in the middle of large gardens. Though these houses are not as well equipped as a hotel, you can experience the pleasures of the countryside. In the afternoon, watching the clouds coming to cover the Huanglian Son Mount, from the corridor of the house, you will feel that time has stopped. You will be wakened only by the sounds of wooden buffalo bells and the gleam from the moon. Dinner will be served in the courtyard full of moonlight. A romantic moonlit night follows in a cozy upstairs room with cotton blankets and mats made by the host. From Ban Ho, upstream of Muang Hua, we can see the bridge made of rattan. Now a new bridge has been created nearby, but most tourists enjoy the old rattan bridge linking the two big streets on the two sides of the stream. The attraction to tourists is a feeling of being in an unstable and precarious position when crossing the old bridge. Passing the Rattan Bridge, you will arrive at the Tavan village of the Dai group. Without a guest house, tourists stay in the village, spending a few days to taste life in the countryside. The village meal will provide us with special flavors that cannot be found in any restaurant because It is served with fish caught from the nearby stream, bamboo sprouts from the forest, and these dishes are prepared with hot chili, ginger and herbs. Visiting Sapa early in the spring, tourists can enjoy many traditional festivals. The ceremony to pray for the crops is carried out with the simplest wishes for good weather and a bumper harvest. The ceremony ends with games in the fields for everyone, both villagers and visitors. In the con throwing game, when the moon face target is broken, yin-yang harmony will be attained. In a performance of gao singing, young boys and girls exchange sweet songs and chants. These games take us back to our childhood with kid songs, enlivened by the village drum. After the festival season, the rice grows high and green in the terraced fields, marked in the Muang Hua Valley by many schist stones, some scattered over the valley, some concentrated in one area. Many of these stones carry messages from the past. In 1928, the French archaeologist Golubev came to study these stones and presented his findings in many scientific forums in Europe. Many scientists have so far come and tried to study the meaning of these geometric paintings on the stones, but none of them really understand. Instead, they make guesses. The designs are a kind of pictographic writing with many deep meanings. The age and the authors of these stone carvings remain unknown. It is a mystery that arouses the curiosity of tourists. We tried to be an explorer in the field of ancient stones in Sapa. Obviously, these paintings describe terraced fields, the sun and the corn grinders. But put them all together on only one piece of stone, they become puzzling. Quitting the guessing game in vain, we realize that mysteries are made up of simple elements with an unexpected arrangement. Sapa, how abundant it is. A piece of mountain, a piece of the sky, a piece of nature, a piece of the earth. But all of these characteristics and the richness of the land, the sky, the people, and Sapa culture converge all into the 200-hectare Sapa township. At the end of the 19th century, the first French colonists named Sapa the Alps of the East. In the early 20th century, a voluntary organization named the Sapa Initiative Association, chaired by Mr. Go Leong, an architecture professor at the Indochina Art School, mapped out a plan to develop this tourist zone. At the beginning, only some wooden guest houses were erected. But by 1930, hundreds of villas and many hotels mushroomed in Sapa. Over time, many of these buildings, including luxury villas far away on the peaks of the hills, have not been able to remain intact. However, the moss of time cannot conceal the artistic talent of the architects and the workmen who carved their own features on the buildings in the mountains. There are unchanged buildings such as the stone church or villas in the centre of the town. Time just increases their ancient beauty and gives us the impression of the longest lasting tourist zone. The height of the old buildings was considered carefully to harmonise with nature, so that when the clouds come down to town, even the campanile of the church, the highest peak of the town, only touches the sky and does not break through it. New buildings inherit the old traditions. Most hotels in Sapa are situated on a large area. Victoria Hotel is on the top of a hill and has the luxury of European style and the architectural features of the East. Balcony around the house brings the nature closer, while the rocks around the yard give us a cozy feeling and a private moment. Huang Lian Hotel was reconstructed from a house in the street. Walking along the corridor, we feel like we are closed in by walls. But when the windows are opened, we will have a private room which retains the fresh air and beauty of Sapa. Ham Zong Hotel and Trade Union Hotel are comprised of many small villas. Each room has a small balcony so that the visitors can see the typical beauty of Sapa. In recent years, more and more construction works have been carried out. So, Sapa has been expanded, but its urban architecture has been preserved from the time of the Sapa Initiative Association. The roads in Sapa lead you not only to the centre of the town, but also to some tourist areas in the suburbs and connect the mountains with the streets. Hong Ho is the old name of Sapa, meaning red stream. Nowadays, the red stream has been blocked to create pools of water which turn out to be a beautiful sightseeing attraction for many tourists. Hong Ho is an illusion on a foggy morning. Hong Ho is pensive in the dusk. When the streets are lit up, the stream gathers the most sparkling light of Sapa. The cool water, the gentle sound of the springs, the light steps of humans all remind us of Tui Lake in Kunming City or the Thai Lake in Wuji City in China. At this time, the Love Festival is waiting to start. The Sapa Love Market is usually opened on Saturday night. Boys and girls from the villages go to the market as early as the afternoon, and when eyes meet, a date is made. Although waiting for the rain to stop or surrounded by many curious people, the dating continues. Hmong people select one corner of the street to perform the tradition of wife stealing. Single boys and girls, married men and women all can join in the game. Men want to show their talent in the Ken dance, which is very close to martial arts, while women have a chance to present their strong soprano voices, characteristic of the people in the high mountains. In a darker place of the market, dull boys and girls sit in groups a few steps away from each other, each group having a lead singer. Meeting with a yellow flower here, I want to take the flower back with me. Responding to this sincere and serious love poem, the girls are considerate, but do not reveal their ebullience of heart. Not a yellow flower, a forest flower growing high in the mountains. When it loses its beauty, will you still have love for me? The poem reminds us of the love duet songs and the folk songs of Chongguan in the past. Coming to Sapa, we seem to enjoy some flavours from our own home village. We seem to experience once again nights without moon, stars or light, when we can recognize each other only by singing. When there is no longer the sound of flute and ken, the Sapa Love Market moves to private corners. On the following day, when the sun rises, the real market opens. This is one of the few terraced markets still existing in our country. Here is everyday Sapa, where we can find fresh green vegetables from Okui Hall, peaches and pears from Takbak Street, honey and herbal medicine. Some of these things can be grown in the house garden, but others only in the mountains, a couple of thousand meters high. In the crowded market we will meet women patiently preparing fibre. They bring the Zhao and Hmong brocade products and silver jewellery to sell. These are the best-selling products. They are not just souvenirs but also the talent of Sapa people, Sapa soul and cultural imprints. Apart from the main market, there is a miniature Sapa in the town. This is the flower garden at Hamzong Mount. The orchid garden at the foot of the mount lies behind a forest. 300 different species of orchid in the Huanglian Sun range are collected for visitors to enjoy or to buy and take home. In the orchid garden, flowers with various colours of the 3 different climatic zones are seen everywhere along the path or between the stones. Indeed, there are flowers in Hamzong Garden all year round. The restaurant in the garden serves all the dishes of the Hmong, Zhao, They and Thai groups. On the stage of the ethnic minority culture house, rites, games and songs are performed. Tourists can dance, play games and discover more. Local people who pass by will stop to recall the spring festival in the past. Sometimes the performance is outdoors in the clouds. Listening to the music, visitors think of the fairies' home. Joining the line of people, we go to the stone garden. Up high on the mountain is a dragon-shaped stone leading to Fansipan. Further down are stones of different shapes. Visitors have named the stones after their strange shapes: the frog, Buddha, the chessboard, the breaking stone. Guided by the Hmong ladies to cross the 2 heaven gates, we reach a deep stone. The path is so narrow that we think stone walls touch our body, but a surprise comes when we suddenly encounter the stone walls. The panorama of Sapa is before our eyes, and we look out at the cloud yard, feeling pure. From here we have the vision of the three parts of the landscape of the mountain range in Indochina: Ta Kan, Tan Highlands, Phan Xipang, and Nam Cao Ho. The Muang Hua Valley lies between these parts, looking like a ship whose highest section is the town of Sapa. It is interesting that after a few hundred steps we feel that we have done the same hard job as climbing Phan Xipang. From here, the difference is that Sapa is not small, but not far away from the vast and large mountain. Here is clouded Sapa in the highlands. Leaving Sapa, we have just purified ourselves. Large mountains, fresh air and friendly people help us to kiss away our worries, tiredness. Only the happy memory stays in our innocent hearts. Sapa invites us to come back. The pine trees in line are waving goodbye to us. We want to respond to the pine trees as the people did in the past. You, pine trees, stay in this heaven. I go back with my beautiful love. Sapa, love, we will certainly come back to this kingdom of clouds.